everyone. If you could change your names to include your outlets, I would appreciate it before we get started. I know most of us know, but thank you. All right, we'll get started and I'll admit anyone who joins a little late, but welcome. We have FaZe here off their match with 100 Thieves. As always, we'll use the raise hand function to ask questions. Go ahead and press that when you're ready, and I will call on you by name and outlet. Feel free to unmute and ask your question. If you have any technical difficulties or questions, feel free to use the chat, and I will be keeping an eye on that as well for you. You're more than welcome to ask your question via text. All right, we can get started with Brandon from Run It Back.
Hi, thanks for taking the time after the loss. This is for JDM if he's available. My question is just with the familiarity of playing 100 Thieves, so many times over the last couple months, coming into this, kind of how do you prepare to play against somebody to kind of change things up and maybe bring some surprises in, to make sure it's not just the same old match each time?
So I mean, we had like a day of prep. Before we prepped against them many times, yeah, it ends up becoming like a mind game against them. I mean, we've had so many series against them. But it's just changing like how we look at things, like the stuff that we've already shown them. Maybe we give it a little twist of like a feint, or like we fake it instead of actually hitting it with our like ults or like our utility. We just got to change up our utility a little bit to make it a little bit different. Maybe our dart goes different, like in a different location. Our knife goes, whatever. But it's just, yeah, giving a different look that they haven't seen from the previous one that we've already shown them. Those are kind of like what we try to do in our prep as well.
Great. We'll go to Ian at Valoranting.
Hi, this is for Poised. I heard from some of the 100 Thieves players that their kind of game plan was to attack you guys early and try and break your confidence. I'm sure your confidence wasn't broken, but I'm curious, did you feel the presence of that strategy, or do you interpret their game plan to have been something different?
I don't know. I didn't really feel that strategy of attacking early, but I do think that they prepped very well. Like they prepped a very high standard, and that preparation is what I think won them the game.
Great. We'll go to Declan at Dexerto.
Hi, this is for JDM and Zach as well. I was just wondering, as you guys have kind of been with this team over the year, how has it kind of changed and morphed and evolved kind of outside of the obvious like roster changes?
Josh, you were here longer.
Yeah, I mean, we started in the very beginning with no IGL. So that was a huge difference. We just needed to bring someone in that we could call. That was my first thing that I wanted to look into when doing this rebuild. So that was the huge thing. The other thing is just, over time is just making sure that we be more advanced in our fundamentals, because I'm huge about the fundamentals. I come from CS, so that's all we like got drilled in CS, and it just it applies in this game as well. So I try to re-emphasize that over and over and over and try to get better with our roster changes and stuff like that. I mean, our roster changes towards the end too. I know you weren't talking about the roster changes, but these guys are top level players in the world. So bringing them in and just having them do their thing and working together, that's just evolved from what we've started from.
Great. We'll go to Kobe at Upcomer.
Hi guys, question for whoever wants to field it really about your opponents under these. They're a relatively inexperienced team, but they may or may not have kind of improved over the course of this event. I'm curious if you felt like they have made kind of any bounds from the first time you played them within LCQ.
I think they've definitely improved as a team, and overall they became better strategic team. But then it was also us not playing to our standards as usual. But they haven't improved overall, which is nice for the region. It's just nice for the region. Hopefully they represent us well.
All right, we'll go to Declan at Dexerto.
Hi again. This one's for Supplement. I was just wondering if you were kind of proud about how this year kind of played out for you outside of kind of today's results.
Yeah, honestly, I've came a lot since the Rise days, things happen on Rise, and I probably wouldn't have expected to land on FaZe, this year if you asked me 6 months ago. Um, but I'm happy that I got the opportunity to join FaZe and play with Baby Bay again. He's one of the best teammates I've ever had, and like joining FaZe with Poise as I don't know, as I made my career, much brighter, I guess, and then yeah, that's basically it.
Go to Ian at Valoranting.
This is for Baby Bay. Your teammates have already kind of alluded that you guys didn't play up to your standards. Is that where you think the fault was for the Phoenix? Or do you think that there was some other problem with that? And sorry, not like your standards, Baby Bay standards, just your guys' own standards.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
I mean, the Phoenix pick was something that we thought would throw off 100 Thieves because we weren't sure that, first of all, I had that beast of a game like on that comeback, and it's hard to like replicate that, game to game. That's not like a consistent thing that I feel like you can rely on. I mean, maybe you can, but it's still like, I feel like we had a lot of good ideas for the Phoenix, and it's just we just this last like week we just weren't the same team that we normally are in terms of our mechanics and our strategy. So, like, as soon as one of them takes a hit, like I think we just started doing things that we've never done before, and that's what like gave 100 Thieves like the opening to get a lot of the free kills that they got, and it's hard to control something like that because we've never been in this position before as a team.
Great. We'll go to Kobe at Upcomer.
Another question for Baby Bay. When we spoke previously, you talked about how you and Superman specifically are really strong land players, and while you haven't had the opportunity yet, there is kind of franchising on the horizon in 2023. And although we don't know FaZe's status, I think it's probably a good bet that you guys are one of the teams. So, my question is, what do you see? How do you see your team performing in the future when you guys are kind of guaranteed a lot more land play?
Oh, I mean, I have no doubt that this team is going to be good on LAN. We have experienced players. Obviously, I think probably the least experience is like probably Flya. I don't know if you've played any LANs, but I like the thing with Flya is like we thought that he was going to be very experienced and play in online play because he came from a tier 2 team, and he actually ended up just showing up. Ever since we got him, we went on this crazy run, right? So I think he will be fine going into LAN. And I know as a fact that a lot of these teams and a lot of these younger kids on these teams that are cracked out, especially teams that that have beaten us recently, I guarantee you that they will not perform the same for at least until they get comfortable on LAN. There's so much more that happens on LAN and so much more that goes into it, and I feel like there's way more pressure, and it's not just you playing at home or at your boot camp where like there's no crowd or anything on. It just feels like you're at home, right? So I think a lot of these players will crumble during that time, and that's when you'll see me, Superman, and honestly Poised as well. I think we'll all go hard, and well, everybody on his team,
Thank you.
Great. We'll go to Ian at Valoranting.
This is for JDM. You probably have one of the like more holistic views of the team, support staff, everyone involved in FaZe in these matches. I was curious, is there an unsung hero or someone that you really want to shout out as driving success for FaZe?
I mean, it's like a collective thing, man. I want to say first off, all credit goes to the players. One, It always will be the players. They gotta listen to us. They gotta, perform in game, and it all comes down to them. We have, to me, we have one hell of a coaching staff to support them. And then, as well, like, Eric and just FaZe in general, just being able to have us have that support staff and have these players right now. Very, very thankful for that.
Thanks. We'll go to Brandon at Run It Back.
Thank you. This one's for Dicey. I apologize if this was already asked. I had to step away for a second. But with you strictly playing Chamber in this match and that being your role, I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on the changes that were made to him, how you think that might affect your role and the agent going forward.
I think the chamber nerfers aren't that big of a deal. They just lowered the radius of it. You can still make the same play. You can still get out for free. The Deagle bullets aren't that big of a deal. On a pistol round, you only use like 2 or 3 of them anyways. If you're hitting your shots, play doesn't really matter. But I can always flex the other agents like I did before the Rise people joined the team. I feel like it doesn't affect me that much. It just changed. It would just make me play like more smarter or just less risky. And then it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. I feel like when champions start, we'll see chambers being played in champions, just like nothing happens.
Thank you. Did we have any other questions for FaZe? No? All right. Well, we can wrap it up here then. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks to FaZe, and we'll see
you.
everyone
you.
next
Appreciate
time.
you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Later.
Thank you
so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.